Right, Martin, we talked in part one about the various things you've tried, and then you sort of moved on. So how long do you give it before you concede that something that worked before no longer does?
Well, it can vary and whatever. Like I say, for 5 or 6 years I was doing the in-running. Going on the road was quite sort of lucrative. Used to go, especially Lingfield and Southall. Southall used to be a great place for the in-running punters on track. And we would turn there, go up, be a little bit like robots, but if you went there 5 times, you'd definitely win 4 times. You may have one bad losing race, but you'd soon get it back. And then it got progressively worse, and it was, the same horses are running there, everything was exactly the same, but the volumes in Betfair that people do in the in-running sort of got progressively worse. We cut down on the X's. We used to have a massive dish on our office at home. 4 of us used to share an office. We used to get the codes every day. I think at one stage we were paying 800 quid a month for the codes, and in the finish you was paying 50 quid a month for the codes. So just like everybody had them. So every edge sort of that we had, either everybody else caught up or it just got worse and worse and worse. And I just basically said, this isn't sort of working anymore. The risk to reward ratio wasn't there, sort of thing. It's no good putting all that effort in if you're going to have a 50-50 chance of winning, sort of thing. So the edge went, so I sacked it off, move on, next case, what else are we going to do? And I find my edge, without doubt, is in the maidens, getting the price, but you're limited to what you can get on.
Okay, now we're talking now sort of around about lunchtime. So how much work goes into every day's racing? Is all business done now for the day?
You'll be surprised, mine's done, a lot of it's done the day before. I have a rough idea of what races I'm going to play in. Just put a line through all the handicaps and whatever, get it down to a few novice races within reason. I know my stables that I get sort of good help out of. I can look at the colours and just know roughly whether I'm going to be whether or not I'm not going to have a bet, but whether there's going to be action or not. Sure enough, that afternoon comes, or the evening comes, and something will get smashed, and hopefully I'm on that already, or certainly by 8:30 or 9 o'clock the next morning, I'll have tried to get my few quid on. And you're limited to what you can get on, but the size of stakes I bet in aren't massive, so I can generally get my plenty of value on what I get in.
Right, that's what I was going to ask, because people watching this are probably going to be screaming at this. How on earth do you get on? Because you've got a job to get a score on the night before, and if it wins, your account's gone.
Yeah, I've had hundreds of accounts shut, hundreds. I've got a few accounts still running at the minute, 1 or 2 still in my name.
Not anymore.
Huh?
Not anymore.
Well, I don't know. Trust me, I can't. I've got 2 BOC accounts. I'm not mentioning one. I cannot back a winner with them, and I deleted the app the other day because it's just a complete and utter BOC account. Although they do sort of go up quite early, but you can't. I'm a firm believer you can't beat a BOC, and no matter how hard you try. I have BOC jockeys, BOC trainers, BOC courses, northern this and that. Irish are a complete BOC for me. So. I deleted that account anyway, but I tend to be able to get on okay for what I want. They'll lay it to lose £1,000 or something like that, and you'll be surprised some of them keep the account running longer than you think. If they may think they're getting a cheap mark for 1,000 quid sort of thing to win £1,000 or £2,000. So some of them keep running a little bit longer than you think.
Which leads me nicely on to another question I got from your pal. I won't mention the name of the firm.
Making himself busy, isn't he?
He is, isn't he? I won't mention the name of the firm for obvious reasons, but you've got what he describes as an infamous marker account with a major bookie. Can you tell us more about that?
I know which one he'll be talking about, yeah. Well, I'm not going to mention the name either, but you tend to sort of, I can go on and I can bet things to win £2,000, which it's enough for me. Not the night before now, but certainly in the morning. So, I can have £1,000 on a 7-4 chance in a maiden that I know is going to start evens. But I get a lot of repercussions for putting that bet on from some good friends of mine that are bigger punters than mine, because I've gone on to that firm. All the traders follow the account, or which they're renowned to for this particular firm. They smash it into the ground, and the bigger punter friends that I've got can't. Of course, they can only get on until the last 2 minutes, sort of thing, until the show comes up. So I get a lot of ear-roll from them for using that account, so I tend to stay well clear of it. There's too many eyes on some of these accounts that are the marker accounts, and you can have a bet for a couple of £100 and they get smashed to pieces because everybody's following them.
Well, I was going to ask what the biggest mistake punters make, but maybe showing your hand a bit too soon, is that, is it?
Well, it can be, depends on really how much you're trying to get on, and if I'm marking somebody's card that wants a sizable bet on, then obviously I stay well out of the way, and I won't go on and have my 400 quid on at 3-1, something that's going to shorten it up. But if I get the green light to sort of crack away and do whatever you want, I don't have too much of a problem getting on. I mean, I'd like to get on more at the price, because if you have the price, you're in the driving seat, aren't you? But you know, it's one of them things you can't. Nobody's going to sort of lay you a grand at 7-2. You know, it's going to start 6-4. So that's when it closes your account. But if you're not too greedy, you know, and you only bet to win a grand and whatever, and you can do that once or twice a day or once or twice a week, it's fair. It's fair.
Are you still sticking on for commission as well for other people?
No, I haven't done that for a long time. I don't mind somebody coming up to me and sort of having a bet with me and saying, "Can you get me this?" And I'll lay them the best price. You know, if I've been dealing with them for a long time, and I'll sometimes double the price for them if I think it's good enough business, and I'll look after them. But no, my days of putting on it was too many headaches. So.
Okay, so how do you manage your personal staking? Have you got like a staking plan?
Not really. Just depends on how well I'm rolling at the time. You know, I mean, I've done my brains on a few short ones this year. I can mention Charlie Appleby sort of thing. Great lad, great trainer. But I mean, this year sort of thing, they're all 4 to 5 chances. Most of my sizable bets this year have been on from Charlie's yard. They've all got beaten first time out. Probably come out to be champions and win second time. So I manage my staking really how I'm rolling at the time, but it's you can't get on what you want to get on at the price. So there's no really managing it. You know, you just manage to get on what you possibly can at the time, and I don't think of you know, how I'm going to what percentage of my bank I should be putting on. Sometimes I've been having 50% of my bank on. Sometimes it's 5% of your bank. Just depends how you're rolling at the time.
So are you price sensitive then? I mean, would you think this has got to be that price before I back it, or would you still go in? Is it hard to work out the true price of a horse?
I'm not really. I mean, I know when something's possibly too short, but something they chalk up 2 to 1 in the morning, and you just know you think, well, that's short enough. I won't take twos, but you know it's going to be smashed to pieces. So invariably it'll be 5 to 4 in the afternoon, and they'll want on 5 to 4 as well. So it just gets shorter and shorter. It's hard to price up something now. You get a few negs in the race, you just know that price is going to go through. So even if you make your own tissue as such, which I don't, you kind of tend to take what price you're offered, because you know they're going to be absolutely obliterated. So just get on what you can, as long as it's not too short within reason.
And would you ever be tempted to sort of green up and get out if they shorten that?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, obviously, of course you do. You know, I can be holding some fantastic bets at 3 to 1, and I'm looking at 5 to 4 on the show. And when I'm doing things sensibly, yeah, of course I green up and get out, lay your stake back and put in short price lays in running. Sometimes if I'm chasing, you tend to hold on to your bets and flunk that they win, and then it's another tale of woe when they get beaten, caught on the line, isn't it? And you say, what if, why only?
Now, you touched on speed figures earlier. Are you a bit of a fan or not?
No, not at all. I mean, I hear a lot of people, successful people, put themselves up for speed. Everybody gets speed figures now, and everybody gets plenty of help, don't they? But like I said, invariably I know people that say, oh, I win on speed figures, and this is top of the figures, and this and that, and then I can sometimes see those people's bets, and then or the list of bets. The time I won on is when there's an unexposed one, or when they're back in a maiden sort of thing. The speed figures, I mean, not for me, I'm afraid. Not for me. I'm not one of those that watches every single video and studies every single bit of form, and I've got a good friend of mine that says, have you seen its last run 3 runs ago of a 6 furlong handicap? He's asking me that at 7:30 in the morning. Of course I haven't, don't be stupid. I think, ask me about the maiden race at Wolverhampton, that's all.
Now, is it you say it's harder to win money these days, or would it have been easier to win 15 years ago?
Oh, Peter Cake 15 years ago compared with what it is now, because your maiden race, there's no secrets now. Before we used to get, some bookies laying me paper prices even to win, You know, to win a grand 15 years ago or more when I was a jockey's agent, it was just free money. You could have 200 quid at fives, you know it was going to open up at evens. And now the same horses that were 5 to 1 are all opening up at 4 to 5. So the value, every bit of value's gone at it, but we all keep at it and we all keep trying. But it was a lot easier years ago than it is now.
Well, a lot of people that think they know better than other people say that it's folly to bet odds on. Now, I'm told that you were quite a good, successful odds on punter.
My friend's been making himself real busy again, hasn't he? Well, who doesn't like an odds-on chance? You know, one of those people that says, "Oh, I never bet odds on." I know some people at Granite don't bet less than 2 to 1, but invariably they have 2 bets a week rather than 2 bets a day. So, of course, I bet odds on. If I think I can bet something at 4 to 5 that's going to start 1 to 3, which a lot of the time I do. It's a good bet, isn't it? If you're having 4 to 5 or 1 to 3 chance, look at Harry Finlay. I'm sure he'll sit and he'll tell you a few stories about how he's bet odds on plenty of times. I think everything has its price. Not every odds on chance is a good bet, but sometimes those maidens, 4 to 5 is tremendous value.